Hello, I'm Novelette, and welcome to Morgen Talk. My guest today is Aurelio Mattucci, who is the Vice President of New Challenge Ministry, a food bank based in Torrance, which served more than 1 million meals in 2020 alone. Aurelio is also the council member of Torrance 5th District, running for re-election in 2022.
Okay.
Hello, Councilmember Mattucci. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. So let me ask you, you're running for re-election next year, next June, yes, as council member of Torrance. What made you decide to run for re-election again?
I've really enjoyed it. This last 3 years have been very fulfilling, and I was able to push for a lot of the things that I wanted to push for, that I promised that I was going to push for, and I just wanted to give it a shot and see if the people want me for another 4 years or not.
And what were some of those things that you wanted to push through that you just mentioned?
Well, I was very adamant about the Coyote Program. The one that we had, the 2016 program, was very ineffective. We gave it a shot, but in 2018, I was able to get through a modified Coyote Program that would basically have a five month out of a year culling, which is basically just trying to bring down the coyote population.
I see. Okay. All right.
And one of the things. There's other things, obviously, cleanliness and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, we put together a very strong online app called My Torrance CA, and we were able to add some services there. So we do graffiti, Coyote Program. So if you see a coyote, you can report it, so that at least we can track them.
Good.
We do illegal dumping and shopping cart retrieval, which is which they kind of all connect into how beautiful Torrance is.
Right. You mentioned yes, indeed. You mentioned cleanliness. You're given the nickname Mr. Clean, referring to your passion for cleaner, safer Torrance. Tell us about that.
Mr. Clean came out actually in 2014 when I was out actually cleaning Torrance. I had a truck and volunteers. I had a group called Mattucci Project, which was basically just a group of volunteers going around town cleaning up weeds and trash, and so I actually got the nickname during that period of time. Then when I ran in 2018, it was, I guess, in a way, part of my campaign, Mr. Clean.
Gotcha. You also introduced an ordinance called.
I kind of look like Mr. Clean, don't I, with a bald head?
What was that?
I don't have the muscles of Mr. Clean, but I do have the bald head.
That will do. Okay, you introduced an ordinance called the Anti-Camping Ordinance. What is that about?
Anti-Camping Ordinance is, by itself sounds, it sounds mean, but anti-camping ordinances are an ordinance that a lot of cities have been adopting just because of the increases in homeless encampments. What that does, it allows cities to push individuals into getting help, especially the ones that are refusing help and just really deteriorating and dying on our streets. We have over 1,000 people a year that die in our streets of LA County. And a lot of it is because they're untreated mental issues they have, drug abuse, alcoholism. And if they were in a place where they can find, warm meal and shelter, I don't think they'd be dying, if they got the help. So I call it tough love. If somebody wants to set up a tent on a sidewalk and live like that, it should be legal to do that in my mind, because I believe in personal freedom. But there is a human factor to that. So it's unfortunate to say that these types of ordinances are the only tool to help people get off the streets, the ones that are not wanting to get help. So it needs to be done, I think, in Torrance, and I think it needs to be done in every city, so that we're not just moving vagrants from one city to another. They're just migrating from one city to another. We want these individuals off the street to get help and nothing else. We're not there to criminalize homelessness. That's not the at least not the goal of what we're trying to do. So.
Gotcha. All right, now on a different subject, will the City Council ever consider setting up, say, a Commission Oversight Committee that is being demanded at each council meeting by a supporter of Christopher Dion Mitchell, who was involved in a fatal officer-involved shooting back in December 2018? Is it something the City Council is still considering, or is just a mute thing now?
The current city council, we've looked into it. I've personally asked the question, how those oversight committees, commissions work. According to both the former police chief and also our city attorney and city manager, these commissions, they tend to be just more of a advisory, which is fine. But they really don't have any legal pull. They don't really get to look at files that are still under investigation. These are not sworn officers. These people are not attorneys hired by the. So the information that you would give these commissions is very limited. And the truth of the matter, city council and the people that we represent, we are the oversight committee, the oversight commission for our police department. Now we can't. I don't want to say it sounds funny, but it's kind of ironic that they ask us to do things that we can't do legally. We can't fire people. We don't have that power, and neither does the commission. By the way, these are jobs that are protected by unions. They're protected by laws as well. We can't just fire people just because somebody tells us that we should. And maybe we should, but those are things that need to be fought in a court of law, with laws that accompany what their demands are. I think their demands, I think they come from the heart. I think what they're asking for, this particular group that calls every week, what they're asking for is not necessarily unreasonable when it comes to getting a commission together. But I don't think it's going to happen in Torrance, at least maybe not for now. Maybe in the future there will be, but you have to also look at all the cities that do have a oversight commission. They still have police shootings. They still have protests. They're still being attacked. So it doesn't really solve anything. I think what we do need is better training, a better equipment. I think there's a lot of non-lethal options that I've been researching on my own that we could possibly invest in. That I would highly encourage that we invest in, because I don't think anybody wants to, go out and shoot people. Doesn't matter what color of skin they are. The fact of the matter is that we want everybody, including the officers, to go home safe to their families. And if it's a criminal element that's doing something to where it might warrant deadly response, I would like to seek all non-lethal first before we reach that point. I feel for these families that lose people, whether they were guilty or not. This is somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody's mom, father, and it's sad. Loss of life is a loss of life, no matter how good or horrible of a human being it might be. So yeah, to answer your question, no, I don't see it coming to Torrance, just because of the things that I've explained. They don't really do much other than just be an advisory board. At least that's what it was explained to me. If there's a compelling argument that comes to us, I'd gladly present it, but I just haven't seen that yet.
Okay, all right, well, thank you for sharing that with us. So now, is there anything else you'd like to share before we go?
Yeah, I think Torrance is just a wonderful community. I moved here in '77. I was a kid, and I didn't speak English. English is my second language. I now speak 3 languages. Well, I was kind of forced to learn Spanish because my wife's from Argentina. So if I want to understand what my mother-in-law is saying, I need to learn Spanish. So, anyways, I think the way we were greeted here is just phenomenal. You know, all the way from the schools to the neighborhood. I think we're just a strong community. We're just filled with just good people, you know. And yeah, there are some bad elements. There's no doubt. Anywhere you go, you're always going to find the good and the bad. But I think overall, Torrance is a loving and caring and united city. And you know, I'm just here to try to keep it clean, try to keep it safe. That's because that's what's important to me. And I hope the voters see that in 2022. That's my goal, is to try to keep it, you know, keep it nice, a good place to raise a family and have a business, and go out for a walk without having to go around with a baseball bat. You know.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you so much for talking with us today.
Yeah, thank you, and you're doing a fabulous job on your own. You're a good trooper for the city. I'm very proud of you.